it's been a hard few years for Valiant Comics fans, I got to tell you, and I'm one of those. If you don't know what Valiant Comics is, it was a publishing company that Jim Shooter actually started in the early 90s, and he launched a bunch of cool titles. He did Exo Manowar, which was kind of like his Iron Man, Green Lantern mashup. He did, and Conan mashup, I guess. And then, of course, they got Solar Man of the Atom from the old comics. They got Turok from those old comics as well. They launched, what was another great one? It was Harbinger, which was like kind of X-Men, only not. Shadow Man was probably the most unique character out of all of it. A lot of cool characters. Archer and Armstrong, the Eternal Warrior. Really fun stuff in the initial launch of that series. And all of those first books, like because Shooter was editor, cooked. I mean, they were amazing. And they did very, very well. Jim Shooter ditched or was forced out after the first year. And what they did was a huge crossover before he left called Unity, which was the biggest comic book crossover really of all time. And that's what Jim Shooter's known for, is these crossovers. It was like Valiant's Secret War, but like on steroids, right? And Valiant was really cool because they actually like advertised at a time like this is a company where continuity matters, where change matters. What happens to the characters? People who die actually die. And so it made a big difference between reading that and like reading Marvel and DC, where like everything resets every whatever. And so this is something that that really was great. They had a ton of amazing talent. And then it proceeded along. After Jim Shooter left, like some of the quality dropped off a little bit, but some of the books were still good. Shadow Man stayed good throughout its whole run. Exo Manowar did as well. And then Acclaim bought the company, which is the video game company, and they relaunched a bunch of stuff. And this is the history of Valiant, where it goes. And when they relaunched, it got weird, and it was different, and most of it sucked. And then the company went bankrupt in their whole endeavors. They just, I don't know what they did over there. But they made a couple Valiant video games, and it was all just gone, and Valiant just ceased to exist. Now, some investors bought the property in the 2000s, and then Dinesh Shamdashani relaunched Valiant in 2012. And he relaunched it, he rebooted the universe, he reset everything and made sure everything was on the same page, and it felt like a whole comic book universe, and it was refreshing because DC was again rebooting and Marvel was rebooting, and this is Valiant. It's starting rising from the ashes. It hasn't been there in a while, and all these stories connect, and the characters connect in a shared universe, and they actually matter and grow again. And again, the best talent in the industries were working on it. Robert Venditti did Exo Manowar, which is his run on that best comics period. It's amazing. Same with Joshua Dysart's Harbinger was freaking amazing. And then he got some great artistic talent in there as well. Doug Braithwaite, who's on Conan the Barbarian now. Of course, Thomas Giorello, who was on Conan the Barbarian on Dark Horse when it was really good too. Those guys were doing the art for this, and it's just like it was phenomenal. Now, again, the company got bought by a Chinese investment company who wanted to move it into movies and stuff because, oh my gosh, the MCU is making so much money. They tried to make some movies. If you remember Bloodshot, it failed very badly, COVID-19 timing and stuff, as well as like a really cheap-looking movie. And then it just like they stopped publishing stuff around that time as well. It's just like once they took over and once they kicked out all the editorial, it was a big problem and it was gross, and it just like the quality went way down because they were skimping on costs and the like. Well, at that point, they brought in, who do you bring in to fix this? I look at these industry names, and they have no idea because they're not in comics. They brought in Heather Antos and a bunch of women to destroy the property even further. And they kind of did a soft reboot where they started things and like really weren't paying attention to continuity, and stuff didn't really flow. There was no big editorial vision, and it was a disaster. In the early 2020s, like those books were just unreadable for them. There were a couple that like were doable. It just didn't work out. And so that went by the wayside. Even like towards the end of those, they like didn't even publish the last issues of what they were putting out at the time. It was just a train wreck. And it went from a company that was doing like several books a month to like, is one going to come out this month? I don't know. And then Alien Books picked it up. Now, Alien Books seemed like nice people, and I liked the people over there. And they relaunched the books again and kind of restarted things again. And again, like nothing really felt like it flowed together. There was no vision that felt consistent across things. Some of the books were okay. Some of them were pretty unreadable. And it was just back and forth there. And they culminated it with an event called Resurgence of the Valiant Universe, where like this world-shaping thing was happening, and it was a crisis type of event where they're going to reset the universe. And I'm like, oh, please don't do this. And this is a reset after reset, a reboot after reboot, a change after change, and that's kind of the history of how we got here. Now, Alien Books, again, had a big problem with the Diamond Apocalypse. And so what happened with that was they stopped printing and they stopped publishing and fired everybody again. The editors were gone again. And that's where we start our story today. And this is where the comic industry is having a lot of problems. And I think this all needs to stop. And like, if you're a comic publisher, if you're working in this type of stuff, maintaining reader continuity is the most important thing you could possibly do. And let's talk about that right here. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us, guys. I am a comic creator myself. I have a superhero universe. I have a sci-fi universe, and they maintain continuity. They build characters. The changes in the world actually matter. This is what should happen in comics. And we're cultivating comic book readership in a healthy way here. Web comics really are the future. And so we get you reading, we get you invested. You can choose to support us. This is what Webtoon does, what Tapas does. People make really good livings off of that when you get on with like Patreon, Subscribestar, or whatnot. And this is where I want you guys on. We need to start caring about reading and stories again. And this is what I'm doing is I'm putting up Flying Sparks, my old back issues right now, on Substack, one page at a time for absolutely free. You just read here, sign up just so you don't lose it, and I gotcha. And then I've got exclusives as well. We've even got exclusive comic books coming out. Our next installment's going to be coming out in a couple days on this. We've got commentary tracks talking about the depth of the writing and stuff in the exclusives as well, that if you want to pay and support, you can be on that. So here, Subscribestar, they're both the same content. I appreciate you guys being here. And, of course, we're building something new and different that actually matters. And continuity is going to progress. I have a new team book superhero that's going to spin out of Flying Sparks. I've got a new short story I'm working on that also spins out of Flying Sparks. There's a lot going on right now. We're building 9 graphic novels right now to bring to you, and I want you to get in on here, and I hope to earn your support. So grab this. This is exactly what Comicsgate always promised to be, what your boy Zach was hoping to promise to be. If you guys missed that back in the day and they didn't deliver, we've been delivering this entire time. Best kept secret in indie comics, and this is growing very, very fast thanks to readers like you. It's in the description below. I also have my print books available on a store. If you have not looked at those, my NDM store is in the description below as well. Thank you guys for being here. Join our Discord community too, and let's get into this. So there's a new Valiant Tales of the Shadow Man review. Now, again, this is Valiant Beyond Tales of the Shadow Man. This sounds like an anthology story. I don't know exactly, but again, this is a reboot of Shadow Man. Again, new origin, new universe, new starting point. And I've seen DC Comics do this more than Marvel even, but Marvel's done it as well. Like, I mean, Heroes Reborn, remember that travesty? And oh my gosh. But this is something that comic companies love to do. And they just rebuild things from scratch. They redo the origins. They reboot it. This is the new number one. Well, how many issues is it going to last? Like 6? Maybe? And then it's going to die again because everybody's kind of burnt out like of these reboots. If a character is going to get rebooted and get changed and have a new origin, well, you just invalidated the stories everybody's been collecting to begin with. So it's a great, as much as you call it a jumping on point, it's a jumping off point for readership. And that's exactly where comic industry's gone wrong with all of their retcons, with all of their reboots. It needs to stop because you're just turning everybody off. And they're not bringing in new readerships with this stuff. By having this come out with this, I don't know anybody right now who's like, yes, I'm going to buy Valiant Comics now. Now that they've started with an all-new number one, that's what I'm doing right now. I have not heard anybody talking about this. Now, I read some of the last Shadow Man stuff that this AJ Ampadu did. He's kind of amateur in his writing. He does a lot, like very, very heavy dialogue in it. I don't know if this one might be better. I don't, somebody else might be editing it at this point. But at the same time, it's just a reboot. Like, I mean, you just killed off all the other Shadow Man stuff, and there really wasn't that much content of it. They had like 3 or 4 hardcovers worth of content, and then they, just went off the rails trying to promote all these other characters and really stopped progressing things with the character and stopped caring about the continuity there pretty easily. So it's like, there's not enough content there to warrant a reboot as it is. Just keep the continuity the same at the very least. But the problem is you'd have to get somebody who's an editor, has an editorial vision, who's actually caring about the continuity and knows the continuity. And, of course, Alien Books fired everybody at this point. So there's nobody there who has enough time to do that. There was layoffs going on because of the Diamond Comics distribution sort of situation. I also am not sure. I know AIPT I see this right here. They call it a 10 out of 10. And I don't know about this, but this is a shilly website, AIPT. That's why they get the review copies. And that's what they do, is just completely shill. I don't know. But again, I'm offended as a fan just at the whole concept of Reboot at this point. So I don't. What is Tales of the Shadowman sounds like? Again, it's a travel log of sorts. This just doesn't sound like a compelling first issue immediately right now as it goes. So, geez, what are they doing here? Now, of course, all of these sites were getting these review copies that, again, nobody really reads these. Oh, this is something else. Even this, it doesn't even get, it's a sponsored, okay. So let's go. So we got, these are just people selling it. Are there any other reviews? There's just one review. So this is it. This is what the Earth Tone King says. This is the writer. I began my journey 2 years ago. It's been an incredible one. I'll never know where to go next. I'm forever grateful for the chance to write stories for the characters I fell in love with as a teenager. Tales have been a love letter to the world of voodoo, supernatural horror. Over the past year, I've been crafting a 12-issue storyline that will inspire longtime fans and newcomers. Huge shout-out to the team, including former editor Lisa Hawkins, as well as Clara, Ron, and, of course, Sergio for the amazing art. We've got a lot coming soon. So interesting. I'm surprised Shadowman isn't more popular. Hope these new books are good. And, not much there. I mean, this is... You're on like the Valiant Reddit, and there's 4 people commenting. Like I said, the Reboot's not bringing in new people. It's not being noticed by anybody out there. All it's doing at this juncture is turning off old people. So this is my advice to comic publishers: don't reboot things. Don't care about AIPT. Nobody's reading AIPT. Don't care. You have to do things differently now and move a little differently. That's why we're doing things over here on the Substack, trying to build something different, because that's the only way for the future. The comic shop model is not working out anymore, obviously, and it is all because of the constant, of course, resetting and characters that don't matter because, hey, after this 12-issue series, what's going to happen? Well, if it doesn't work out, they're going to start it with an all-new number 1 in 2-3 more years. That probably doesn't pay attention to the continuity of this either. So why should a reader care? Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Again, this isn't a commentary. I have not read this, obviously, and I don't know I don't know anything about too much of this. I thought the guy's last writing in the universe was a little too wordy, a little too slow on that level. But this could be really good. Maybe it is. But at the same time, this whole system has failed. Hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Are you sick of reboots? And also check out my comic Substack, guys. Really appreciate you being here and supporting us. We'll be back soon.